to the Volairen Show. I hope my voice is good enough. Good enough. I'm still working on it. As I told you guys in the post, I have been doing some mic work along with resting and just taking a little bit of a breather after reaching that milestone. Not that that was my overall intention. Look, guys, I have given up planning on, for the future, other than from day to day, I never could have predicted a year ago that I'd be here. I never could have predicted a year ago that I would have had 4,000 subscribers. I guess my point is that really I can't see the future. So for me, and I felt compelled to stream today. So here I am. And I just wanted to, I wanted to hang out with you guys, and I felt like coming out of hiding a little bit. I wasn't really hiding, I'm just joking there. But again, I've just taken a rest and a breather, dealing with some issues. Now, a couple things are new. First, I have a mic stand. So if you've been hearing bumping and thumping, I'd like to know if that's gone. I'll listen to this after the fact, but I think, I think hopefully that'll fix things, or at least make it a little better. You might hear a thump once in a while, but they shouldn't be hearing any. That's my goal with this whole thing. And plus, it's great positioning because it's right in front of my face, and it's not in the way of my hands. My hands go under it, so yeah. I got an arm. I got a mic arm. The contraption that suspends your mic in the air, holds it there, and you can adjust it and everything. And it's got a clamp. You clamp it to your desk. So I got that going on right now. So that's cool. I'm trying this out. Hopefully I play this back later and it doesn't sound like crap, but honestly, at this point, I really don't care. I miss streaming, to be honest with you guys. I have missed it a lot of times. Like I said, I just think I needed to step back and just kind of chill for a second there. Catch my breath, We all need to do that from time to time, right? I also needed to spend a lot of time thinking about what's my next move, right? For this channel, for my life. What do I want to do? And really, I think that's what I've really been struggling with these past couple months is what do I want my life to look like now? What are my goals? I don't really have any goals past this point other than, make my channel bigger. That's an obvious one. But other than that, I have really spent the past couple months just agonizing and thinking about, okay, what's the best practice for me here? Should I make a schedule? Should I not? Because I have all these different responsibilities now, right? And so that was really hard for me, for a guy like me. It was really tough for me to decide how I was gonna live moving forward, because I escaped the US, I came here, I made it here, I didn't become destitute or become completely broke, and I'm starting to get the money I lost. I'm starting to get some of it back, so that's cool. So I'm things are smoothing out. Well, where do I go from here, right? How do I... Now, again, I want to say, any of you watching, if there is a problem with my voice or whatever, if there's a real problem, please let me know immediately in chat if you can. If you're not subscribed, you can just subscribe momentarily and then unsubscribe if you don't want to be subscribed so you can talk. I only leave it as subscriber chat because that way to avoid trolls. It really screens out the trolls really good. Not always. I've had a couple times where the trolls, actually did subscribe just to troll me, which, fine, that's gonna happen, but yeah, it's been really nice over the year, ever since I started changing it. I can't really look back. Just it's really nice not to have to deal with that all the time. So So that's why I have subscriber chat on. It's not because I'm stingy or trying to be a jerk or anything. It's just I would love to have it just be public and just not have to, you know, funnel people into that. You know, it's not a manipulation ploy. It's just I just don't want to deal with the trolls, man. Like if you know, most trolls won't subscribe, most spammer bots won't subscribe, so I just don't even have to deal with any of that when I have it on subscriber chat. So obviously, if I get moderators and stuff, I'm definitely open-minded to changing that and making it public and open. But right now, you know, I'm just a one-man show. So, one sec. So I just wanted to have a heart-to-heart with you guys and just give you an update, let you know what's going on with me. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do right now. Maybe I'll play a game, maybe I won't. About that, I also have been playing Path to Exile 2. Now, I know that is a completely unrelated gaming genre from what I'm used to, right? Usually I cover Stellaris. Usually, lately I've been covering automation games like Satisfactory. Haven't made any real standalone videos for it yet, but I have plenty of streams, you know, about Factorio and Satisfactory, and actually I wanted to talk about that too. Like I said, I think really the purpose of this show right now is to kind of just clear the air with you guys and kind of just have a candid discussion about how I want to move forward with this channel. Now this isn't going to be a bad news thing. Don't worry about that. I'm not about to drop a big stinker on you, I promise. But I do want to change some things. I want to express my desire to you guys to change some things about this channel that I hope you guys can deal with and accept. But if you can't, I wish you the best of luck, man. I really am at that point on some things. So I guess let's talk about my plans for Stellaris. I think that's a good place to start, okay? So, you know, some of you may have seen my most recent video I did with Stellaris, and now don't take it the wrong way. I still like Stellaris. I still think it's a great game. It's just I've been playing it forever. You know, I've been playing it forever. I've been covering it forever. And unlike some other YouTubers that, you know, Stellaris is their life, I respect that, but I don't want to make it my life, right? I don't want that to be the only thing that this channel is about. I really don't. There, I said it. However, at the same time, I don't want to let you guys down, and I don't want to completely abandon the people that watch me for Stellaris, right? I don't want to give them a reason to unsub, you know, I say that selfishly, but really I mean that, you know, wholeheartedly. I don't want to lose you guys. I don't. With the decisions I make. That's why I consider them very carefully. It takes a lot of time for me to make those decisions. So, but I feel like I have come to a decision about some of these things, and so with Stellaris, I don't know exactly what this is going to look like. Okay, like I said, nothing is set in stone here. I want to clarify that right now. Nothing I say today is 100% gonna be the way it is from now on. This is just what I have rattling around in my head, and I'm just getting it out here. I'm just talking it out with you guys, okay? That's how I do things, right? I discuss things, I bounce things off of people. If they give me feedback, great. If they don't, well, at least I've said my piece. And I might be talking to the wall here, but and Fenru, by the way, I'm not talking to the wall because Fenru's right here. Well, good to see you again, man. I actually thought about reaching out to you on Steam. That's something else I want to talk about, I think. Though it is kind of risky. You know, but let's stick to Stellaris for the moment. So about Stellaris, like I said, I don't want my channel to just be about Stellaris. You know, I don't. That doesn't mean I'm not going to make a Stellaris video ever again. That doesn't mean that I'm done playing Stellaris or that I'll never stream it again. It doesn't mean anything. It's exactly what I'm saying. I don't want Stellaris to be the only thing I do with this channel. And that will never change. So, I really hope you guys... so far, it seems like you guys have understood that, because I've covered many different games. And my channel is still growing, and you guys, most of you guys have still stuck around, so I appreciate that. But I just want to, again, clear the air there and just kind of reiterate that, you know, the things I do, like, I'm not going to hold myself, no matter what the consequences are, I'm not going to force myself to do Stellaris content when I don't want to, I think is what I'm trying to say here. When I really don't want to. I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that lacks integrity, right? That basically, now I am going to do what I got to do to an extent to get views, right? You know, like, for example, I don't like clickbait. I really don't. You may think I do, I don't. But it's a necessary evil. It is, for me, it's a necessary evil. It's something I have to do, right? We all have to do things we don't like, right? And one of the things I have to do that I don't like on this channel is clickbait. I have to put clickbait on my titles. But I try to do that responsibly, right? I actually trashed a guy in the comments. I usually don't do that very often, but I left a negative comment on a guy's channel because he covered a topic and made the most clickbaity title ever. And I took one look at it, I'm like, okay, dude, I know you're full of crap because I'm not seeing anybody else mention this that I trust, right? So, but I humor it and I look at it and it's like, yeah, it turns out basically it's all speculation, and they haven't really done any research or gotten enough facts to really back up what their title is saying. So I'm like, so I do the best I can today. The reason I said all that is because I do the best I can today to make sure that my titles match what I'm saying, right? So just an example, you know, there's things, so there are things as a creator that I have to do that I may not like, but I will do for you guys, right? I will do for you. It's a give and take, right? You know, you guys want to watch me, but I've got to present something that you guys want to watch at the same time. You know, and I want to be my own person. So it's a balancing act, it really is. So while I want to be free to make Stellaris videos when I feel like it, at the same time, I don't want to be pigeonholed or stuck in. You know, so many times where I have, and this is something I've struggled with as a creator, and I think obviously a lot of creators have the same issue where, you know, I want to cover something else, I want to do something else just for the art's sake, right? Just for the creation's sake, right? Because I feel like it. But then I get this sinking sense of dread that, like, oh man, if I start covering another game, they're gonna leave, right? They're gonna leave. You know, I get that voice in my head, and it's like, but one, that's not true. Not always. Sometimes it happens. Obviously, it does happen in this world. But in my history, you know, my experience has been that it doesn't. That you guys generally, most of the time, I don't lose anybody when I cover a new game. What usually happens, so this is the other part of it. The other reason why I feel really pressured at times to just make Stellaris videos and do nothing else is because they get immediate results, right? So when I come out with a video for another game, for example, say I made a video for Satisfactory, I can't predict the future, I can't see the future, but I can try here, and I could probably place a bet that if I came out with a Satisfactory video, it would not get hardly any views for at least a couple months. At least. So unless I'm willing to, you know, sacrifice my time to that, simply for its own sake, but if I'm sacrificing that time for the numbers, it's not very, you know, good for me, right? From a, you know, emotionless, you know, numbers standpoint, right? So there's not, from that perspective, there's not a lot of incentive for me to cover other games, and that's sad. I don't like that. I'm gonna be upfront with you guys. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't, other than because I want to, I don't have any other motivation to really cover anything else. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. That's what I got to say to that. And I'll say it today. I'm done, you know, with that. I'm gonna, and I've realized something with the recent amount of subscribers and stuff. Here's the fact. When it comes to Stellaris, I have been successful. I have succeeded. I have a huge library of Stellaris guides that anybody can plug into at any time that's new, and it will help them. I have accomplished that, you know? So, for the most part, other than a few odds and ends here, I've accomplished most of what I've wanted to accomplish with Stellaris as a game. Now, you know, the question is, do I want to do what, for example, I hate to use him as an example, but what Montu Plays is doing right now, which is make that his bread and butter and make that his, you know, make that his life. And my answer is no, I don't want to do that. Even if that were to bring me success in the short term, I don't think that is where I want to end up, right? So it's kind of like, I'm not going to say that it's a dead-end road, but I think for me it would be. You know, now Montu, to be fair, Montu's been growing. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to criticize Montu's channel right now. And I think he does great work. I want to clarify. I think he does great work. He's a good part of the community. I really, and I like, he's been quite honest in some of his videos, and I do appreciate that too. Like, you know, he hasn't been afraid to call Paradox out, much like myself. Even though it actually could really hurt his channel if he were to do it, he still does it. So I respect him for that, for sure. And I have no problem with Montu. So like, let me make that clear. But like, but I use him as an example because, you know, I think differently. I have a different, you know, perspective. I don't, you know, that's not what I choose for myself, right? That works for him. That's great. And other YouTubers like him, but it's just for me, I don't think that's where I want to end up, right? I don't, not saying that that's a bad place to end up. I just think, for me, I have different ambitions. That's a better way of saying it. So I have different ambitions, and so from here on out, I think really, what I want to do is, regardless of, I want to ignore the numbers for a while and just make what I want to make, but make it as good as I possibly can. The most efficiently as I can. So that's kind of what my goals as a creator to make myself better is. One, I want to put out, obviously I do want to hit the numbers still. I want to put out the videos, I want to make successful videos, but I want to make successful videos about what I want to make them about, you know, for the most part. And, you know, and don't get me wrong, I'm open to feedback, you know, comments, things like that. I love those. To keep doing them, please. I'm not saying that I'm gonna ignore everything everybody says, but like when it comes to what I decide to put out personally, you know, I've got to follow my heart, I guess is what I'm saying. I've got to follow my heart here. And, you know, and I've got to be interested in what I'm producing, right? So, because I do this for more than just the money. I mean, the money is a kind of a bonus, and it is an opportunity, of course. And I do want it, but at the same time, you know, I believe that you need to be in this business for other reasons other than just money, you know, and I firmly believe that. You know, there are YouTubers out there like, you know, some great names out there in the space that have beat the game that, you know, they still do it even though they're retired, and, you know, you can guess who I'm talking about, but they're still doing it because they like it. That's where I want to be, man. I want to do this because I like it. I want to do shit because I want to do it, not because I have the desire, I have the will to do it. Now, obviously, that's not possible all the time. But I think with my channel it is. I'm starting to see that it is. I didn't used to think it was. You know, when I started and when I got popular with Stellaris, or more popular, you know, Stellaris started popping off. You know, for a while there I was like, okay, well, this is what I need to do now. And I was focused on that. But now I really think it's time for me to climb another mountain here, so to speak. And again, I'm saying again, that doesn't mean that, hell, tomorrow I could be like, ooh, I have this great idea for the Stellaris video and I've got to share it, you know? And then I start making the video and then it's done in a couple days. You know, this is how I operate, right? I get that inspiration. But unless that happens, like, I'm not gonna have some kind of schedule here where, like, or plan where, or goals or anything when it comes to Stellaris. Like, I have to put out this video every single week, you know, without fail, you know, or I lose everything. I'm dropping that mentality right here and now. I am ignoring, and I'm ignoring any thoughts to that, you know, in that regard. Not gonna listen to it. Not gonna listen to those messages. So, you know, for me personally, because, you know, we all get self-sabotaging thoughts now and then. I get a lot, and that's one of them. Is like, oh well, if you don't do Stellaris, then you're never gonna grow. No, I disagree. I've seen to the contrary. But yeah, I gotta follow my heart. Now, I mean, there's obviously some exceptions there. I obviously don't want to put my heart and soul into something that nobody's gonna watch. Yo, that doesn't make any sense. Okay? But I don't want to put my heart and soul into something that I don't want to. That I'm not really into at the moment. And yeah, I have actually been, other than the streams, I haven't played Stellaris, like, unless I was streaming for at least almost a year. Like, ever since Machine Age came out. I have not had any desire to play Stellaris, you know, without you guys watching me. So that says something, right? It's like, I think, and like I said, back to what I was saying about, you know, my plans moving forward, and how, like, I really do feel like I'm mostly complete on Stellaris. Like, I've talked about most of the issues that would come up for a new player if they were to first pick up the game. That's kind of why I started making Stellaris videos, to be honest. That's why I started. Now, is that why I finished that? I don't think so, but, you know, I got, you know, the rabbit hole went deeper and deeper. I mean, we know what happened. We're all here. So, I mean, so yeah, with Stellaris, you know, I think basically I've pretty much done what I set out to do. And, well, I don't think I'll ever be done with Stellaris. I definitely am going to slow down, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. I'm going to slow down. Now, what I've thought about doing, and like I said, again, these are just ideas rattling around in my head. I might change them tomorrow. I might not change them. They might be a permanent thing. I don't know, guys. I don't. I'm just talking this out right now. I'm sharing with you guys. I'm sharing my heart with you guys. Letting you know how I feel, what's on my mind, because I've been silent for a couple weeks, so I just, you know, I haven't even answered any of my comments. I think I am going to do that during this show. I'm going to go ahead and catch up on my comments. Okay, and because I've seen them briefly in passing, and that some of them do look pretty positive. But yeah, with Stellaris, I think what I'm feeling right now is that I want to take a step back from producing Stellaris content in general. You know, slow down on it, not stop completely, but, like, you know, because there's still a couple things I'd like to do with Stellaris. Like, one, I would really like to make a no nonsense, no bullshit guide about Stellaris that is less than 20 minutes long from beginning to end. Like, I want to take that tutorial video that you guys have been seeing shorts from lately, and I want to significantly shorten that and condense it down and really get the essence of it. And just like, okay, dummy, come here, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Or not dummy, that's harsh, right? I'm sorry. I apologize. But, like, you know, hey new guy, you know, hey noob, come over here, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and you'll be fine. That's what I want the video to do. It's like, okay, you don't know what to do. Do you want some help? Okay, cool. Here's what you do, right? So if somebody's struggling with Stellaris, this video will plug them in and get them started and teach them what the hell they need to do to understand the game, and to then make their own decisions on how they want to play based on the knowledge given in that video. And give them a direction to follow. See, this is actually a problem I see with a lot of tutorial and guide videos that I think is the reason why channel may or may not be refreshing to people, and this is also based on comments I've gotten over the years. I think it's a real problem when you make a guide or a tutorial, but you don't at least suggest a path for someone to take. So now some people do well with this, right? But I think the majority of people, they do want someone to tell them what to do, okay? It's just they want them to do it in the right way. They want it to be a suggestion. They want it to be, you know, they want it to be brought to their attention, but they don't want it to be forced down their throats, right? So, you know, I do think you need to pick a direction and stick to it, right? So as a creator, as a guide, and as a, you know, a leader, and I have led people in real life in the past, it's not enough to just be like, well, here's what you can do, and give them 30 different choices and not suggest any one of them to pick. I mean, yeah, that can work. I'm not saying it doesn't, and that does feel good for the person saying that. But does it really help the guy who's new, who doesn't know anything, who just wants to have fun, right? I remember when one of the reasons I first started making guides is I was playing this game called Kenshi, right? And one of the things I noticed that really, and this really, honestly, this is why my channel started. One of the reasons why I started my channel and why I started making videos and guides in general is, and the why I make them the way I make them is because I noticed in all these Kenshi videos, nobody ever said or suggested what I should do, like what I should do first. Like, you know, if you knew, just do this and this and this, you'll be fine. But nobody told me what to do. And yeah, you know, I mean, it's kind of a taboo thing, right? You know, we get told throughout our lives, oh, you're not supposed to tell people what to do. Well, I mean, if that was true, then we wouldn't have a civilization, right? We wouldn't have society. I mean, you know, people want to be led. Like I said, they just need to, they just want to be respected and understood at the same time. So, like, I felt like, okay, you know, none of these videos are telling me what the hell I should do, because I don't know shit about this game. I don't know how to play this game. So I'm gonna learn this game, and then I'm gonna give the guys like me that just want a direction to go into, a direction to go into. I don't think there's anything wrong with presenting a direction for people, I guess is what I'm getting at here. So, you know, but there were no Kenshi videos that did that. So I did that, and then that's when I got my first batch of subscribers. And that's when it started taking off for me to an extent. Like I got my first bit of success. But even that took a couple months, right? So, you know, trying to remember where I was going with this. Give me a second. But I guess my point is that, you know, yeah, I think one of the reasons people like my channel, and I've seen evidence of it, is because I do give them a direction to go in. I do suggest something for them to try, you know, to try. Now, sometimes I suck, and I suck at clarifying that I'm just suggesting that you try this, right? You do you at the end of the day, but, like, you know, here's something you can do, right? So, mining copper at the beginning of your Kenshi run might not be the only way you can make money, but it's one of the most, and it may not be the most effective, but it is one of the most effective ways that I've found. And it worked for me so well that I'm like, dude, I could easily teach people how to do this. And see, and that's kind of the goal of the channel, is just, when it comes to guides and teaching people how to play, I'm just teaching people how to get their foot in the door so they can make their own decisions. Like, so I've been playing Path to Exile, right? And, you know, I think the game does a really good job of just, I think the tutorial, like, it teaches you how to play really well, but allows you to make your own decisions based on what it taught you. And that's kind of the model I want to follow. I want to, I want to teach people how to play initially and just, give them something to do, and then they can learn along the way and then make their own decisions and make their own choices afterwards. I think it would be wrong for me to try to make their choices for them. I can't do that, right? And I don't think I should be telling people, that there's no other way to do it other than what I'm doing it. I'm against that as well. That's kind of why I've always been, I've always kind of been an outlier and a rebel when it comes to the meta. Okay. Now I'm not a straight off meta pick, personality wise. I will go with the meta if it makes sense. If it makes sense, but if the meta doesn't make sense or I don't like it, I won't do it. I'll do off picks. I'll do off meta shit. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think everybody see, at the end of the day, everybody has a right to play the way they want to play. If you want to play bad, go play bad, dude. Hell, I could make a video right now where I just do everything wrong in Stellaris and show you guys the results. Honestly, I think it probably would get a lot of views now that I'm thinking about it. And I just got another idea for Stellaris. See, so Stellaris isn't over, guys. It's not over. I'm not saying Stellaris is over, that I'm absolutely done with it. I'm just saying it's going to slow down, okay? It's not going to be predictable, and not to expect it from now on. Not to expect a Stellaris video every single month, every single week, or whatever. Don't expect Stellaris regularly from me anymore. I guess I can safely say, all right? Now, obviously, I don't want you guys to unsub over that, but if you do, and you won't even wait to see how it goes or to see if I actually do what I say I'm going to do, or if it actually plays out that way, and you don't even want to give me the benefit of the doubt or have any loyalty, and like I said, I'm not trying to shame you. If you want to leave, that's cool, dude. You do you, right? I mean, it's one of the reasons I don't really I don't pester people to like and subscribe. I generally don't, and I'll tell you guys right now, I mean, at least right now, the way I see things, the way I feel, even if I got a sponsorship, I might eat my words later. 1 second. I might eat these words later, but as of right now, I'm pretty confident that even if I got sponsorships, and the money started rolling in, that I don't really think I would start one of my videos with a sponsor. Even if they wanted me to. Like, for example, because I want to give the value before I receive the value. I'm a firm believer in that, really. I'm a firm believer, even more, I'm starting to believe it more and more that, you gotta give value before you expect to receive value. So for that reason, I probably will be one of those YouTubers that stick the ad at the end of my video. After I've told you guys, what you clicked on the video. See, that's really what it is for me. For you guys, I want you to get what you clicked on, right? So if I say, I hate Stellaris and this is why, right? Say I put out that title, and you guys click on that, well, you want to see why I hate Stellaris. You don't want to see an ad for skin cream. You don't want to see, me talk 10 minutes about my personal life or drama I was having with my sister or whatever. You don't want to hear any of that shit. You just want to see why I hate Stellaris. And I'm the same way. I am. And that's why I believe this way, because that's me also. I also believe that. As a viewer, it pisses me off when I click on something, I make that decision to click, and then I'm disappointed because I'm not seeing anything that has to do with what I clicked on. So I want to let you guys know here and now, that's what the integrity I plan on keeping, that's who I am. And I don't see that changing, even with sponsorships. I want you guys to get what you clicked on, and then we can talk. If you want to support me after that, I always want to have humility about this, right? If you guys want to give me your money, you fucking will. I don't need to beg you. I don't need to convince you. Now, I do maybe need to remind you now and then that, hey, this exists, and that's all I want to say. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I have done that, you know. I do a spiel. I have for my streams, and at the end of my videos. At the end. But, like, I keep it clear, simple, and short. I don't spend 2 minutes talking about it. Where was I going with this? I don't know. Honestly, like I said in my description, I'm just talking shit. I really am. I'm just having a heart-to-heart. There really is no, like, definite topic of this. It's just... But we were talking about my plans going forward, so... So yeah, with Stellaris, I'm gonna... I do believe that, not completely, but I am gonna take a step back from it. You know, somewhat. So I am going to cut back on it to focus on other things. So what are those other things? So that brings me to the next thing. You guys may have noticed I've been attempting to cover the various automation games that have come out lately and have had, you know, updates and releases recently. Satisfactory, Factorio. And not as much, but Dyson Sphere Swarm is, or Dyson Sphere, no, Swarm. Dyson Sphere Program as well. I think I have all those games. I play the crap out of them, and I've always loved them. They're all good. You want to know which one's the best? All of them. That's really my, honestly, and I'm gonna make a video of like which one's the best, and that's what I'm gonna conclude. That's what I'm gonna leave it as is. They're all the best. There really is. Like, they have compensatory strengths and weaknesses and reasons for you to plug into all three of them, you know, that the others can't provide. Like, for example, for Satisfactory, you know, if you want an automation 3D experience, Satisfactory is your only choice. It really is. You're not going to get that from Factorio, obviously. Now, you could get that a little bit from Dyson Sphere Program, but, like, okay, we'll say the first-person experience, not 3D. Because Dyson Sphere Program is 3D also, but it's third-person. It's not first-person. So if you want that first-person immersive experience, I can't think of a better game than Satisfactory, you know, when it comes to automation games, that genre. You know, however, if you don't care about that shit and you just want raw power, like, you know, overall just effectiveness, like, and just pure dopamine, I kind of have to give it to Factorio, to be honest. Because of the blueprint system, because of its track record and the polish, and really just kind of, you know. And I do think you can sink more time into a Factorio game than you can into the other automation games. That's just a fact. Simply because the world is kind of infinite compared to Satisfactory and Dyson Sphere Program. Especially Satisfactory, you know, it's just a map. You're limited to that map and that's it. And the map is definitely finite. And you can traverse the whole thing if you wanted to, rather easily, if you were dedicated enough. But with Factorio, nah, that ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I mean, you can go to all the worlds. They have that now. But especially before Space Age released, Factorio was just like Minecraft, where it just went on forever, pretty much, for as far as I know. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that the Factorio worlds are infinite, so you could just expand forever. And Dyson Sphere Program, while it's technically finite, it has so many goddamn planets and so much real estate that really hard to say that you'll ever conquer it all in one game, in one sitting. But anyway, yeah. But as far as like pure crack, I kind of do have to give it to Factorio as far as like overall enjoyment. Part of me doesn't want to, because I did have some issues when Space Age first came out, but I think I've kind of accepted them and kind of moved past it. So, but I do love and play all three of those, and so I actually really want to start cracking into those. I think I'm going to start producing content for those. You know, either stream Stellaris I think I might still stream Stellaris. I'm mulling that over right now. Because I think a good option would be... Because I think making shorts of Stellaris, I actually do want to continue doing that. Okay? It's very easy for me to do. And you guys seem to like it because they consistently have been getting views this whole time. And they haven't died down. And so, like, I imagine if those shorts were pissing people off... they would have stopped getting views by now. That's kind of my reasoning. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, comment section, right? It exists. And I love, and please do it. I encourage you to do it. But as of right now, that's my thinking right now is that, well, if my shorts were really that bad, people wouldn't watch them, right? So, as long as I keep getting views for those shorts, I see no reason to discontinue doing those. And I do want to I do want to draw more attention to that tutorial video. That's the reason I'm ripping off of that tutorial video and chopping it up, is because I don't believe that it's gotten the recognition and the views that it deserves. And that's just my opinion, my perspective, right? I put a lot of work. I worked for months on that video. And to me, it's always, yeah, I gotta say, it has gotten under my skin over the years that video wasn't more successful than it is right now. And it still was okay. In fact, I mean, it still did the job. Like, it put me over on hours. I'm partner right now because of that video. That video gave me the watch time that I needed. For sure. But, listen. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm eating. I know I'm not supposed to. But hey, we're being casual today, so I'm sure you guys can forgive me. So, yeah, usually I don't eat on stream. I usually don't think it's appropriate, but I'm just I'm feeling a little frisky today. But anyway, so, yeah. I forgot what I was saying. So it just, so that's what's been going on. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking that, oh yeah, the shorts. That's right. Okay, so, you know, I think my tutorial video needs more exposure than what YouTube's been giving it. And that's the other thing. I actually don't really blame my viewers for not watching my videos. I blame YouTube. A lot of it. A lot of my L's that I've taken with my creation, I really blame it on YouTube, a lot of it. I don't even blame it on me. Usually I blame me first. I try to and say, okay, where was I wrong here? But I've seen the numbers, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest that for whatever reason, and I can't prove it, of course, and I do sound like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat. I may sound like I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, or that I'm being a conspiracy theorist, but I really am convinced today that, to an extent, for whatever reason, YouTube throttles my videos. To an extent. My videos do grow, but I really feel a lot of my videos, there was really, you know, they would just... See, so for any of you creators out there, you know, you go to analytics and it'll tell you how many times your video was shown. So that's YouTube's side of things. Only YouTube can decide whether your video pops into someone's feed or not. And a lot of videos, including the tutorial video, simply was not shown to people. Why? Even though there is plenty of evidence to suggest that people were searching for it, right? You know, in the keyword search, you know, the SEO, that I was doing everything right on SEO. I was you know, and you know, there's plenty of searches for, you know, complete tutorial. I mean, who doesn't search for that? Anyway. Yeah, something as simple as that. I can understand if the title was obscure, a little obscure or unpopular, but dude, people search for that all the time, so why the hell aren't you showing my video, YouTube? Is what I want to say, right? Yeah, and I've looked at the numbers for a lot of my videos, and for whatever reason, they just don't. The reason they don't succeed is they just don't have enough impressions. So I'm like, even though they should, you think they would, right? And other evidence to back this up, and this is kind of a side tangent here, but so there have been times I'll release a video, right? And I'll get like 2,000 views up front, right from the beginning, that weren't subscribers, mind you. And yeah, I'm aware of that, you know, sometimes, yes, it's just my subscribers watched it because they were notified, and then, but then no new people watched it afterwards. That has happened, and that can happen, does happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I'm saying this case is different. What I'm saying here is that I would get a lot of new viewers, right? I would get shitloads of new viewers on some of these videos. Just to see them about like a week later suddenly level off and go flat. And I call it flatline. Where, you know, they were on a good trajectory and then all of a sudden the growth just stops. I don't really feel like there is a natural explanation for that, if you know what I mean. It's really hard for me to believe that a video would just suddenly stop growing if it was popular. You know, after a couple days. That seems very unnatural to me. Now, I haven't really looked into this too much as to why this happens. I have a couple times. I didn't really get anywhere, but like, you know, and look, if you want to correct me, if you think I'm wrong, or you have some insight, I would love to hear it. I really would. I would love to hear it. I want that information. Because I want to know why this happens, right? Because if I know why this happens, I can do something about it. But when I don't know why this shit happens, it's very discouraging, and it makes me feel like I'm just taking shots in the dark. And so far, my entire time on this channel, that's what I felt like I was doing. It's just, sometimes I hit something, right? I am taking shots in the dark, but I do hit something. I get lucky, right? So, yeah, it's become very, to me, it's become very apparent and obvious that YouTube's doing something with the impressions, okay? For at least some of my videos. Because there's really no explanation why How to Build a Battleship continues to get views after all these years, but my Orbital Rings video does not. When it got like 2,000 views in 1 week, and a lot of those views were not from subscribers. I don't see any good explanation for that. I don't see any natural explanation for that. I really don't. Why would the cultural zeitgeist suddenly change its mind? Unless there was some big event or something, you know? If a lot of people like it, then a lot of people like it. They're not going to suddenly not like it. Like, again, unless something obvious happened. So, I mean... But at the end of the day, I will also admit that I don't know. You know? I don't know. I'll never know 100% for sure, I think. Because, you know, it's a fact. YouTube does not tell people what... You know, YouTube doesn't tell people anything about its algorithm. They leave us to guess. So, you know, until they come out outright and say, oh yeah, if you do this, your video will go viral. Until that day comes, you know, I'll just have to speculate. So, that's something I've struggled with since I've been on this channel. It's kind of like, I really would like to get it to where, you know, I'll never 100%, I know that I'll never 100% be able to predict what my video does when I release it, but I would really like to have a ballpark idea, you know? I think that's achievable, right? I mean, otherwise, how do channels get to 1 million subscribers and more, right? If they didn't at least know a couple things that consistently works, right? We're in the know in some areas. So, but yeah, I would like to do more automation games, regardless of what it does to my numbers, regardless of whether you guys leave or not. Not that I don't care. I do care if you leave. It sucks. I hate to see you go. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like I need to... That kind of brings me to the other topic. So, you know, my personal plans moving forward. So I believe I've decided what I want this channel to just be about in general from now on. This is a, I will say for the first time, I'm going to say this is a gaming channel. I have decided that this will be a gaming channel. It mostly has, right? Now, I know I did some Philippines videos, I did some spirituality videos, or motivational videos, whatever you want to call it. Whatever genre you want to fit into that. I have done some of those. And I was experimenting, and at first I thought that I could keep it all under one roof. But, you know, things change, and I change, and I've had a change of heart about the whole thing, and I realized that putting certain things under the same roof just doesn't make sense. Not from a numbers standpoint, not from a creator standpoint, or a viewer standpoint. And I realize that now. However, at the same time, I also do believe, like I just said, that you don't want to niche down too hard. I don't believe in that. If you niche down too hard, that has its advantages. Like, it's kind of short-term gain for long-term sacrifice. So I'm basically sacrificing long-term success for short-term success when I niche down too hard. So I don't want to do that. But I'll admit, it's pretty jarring to go from, you know, watching a Stellaris tutorial to watching a video about meditation. The two are completely unrelated. They really are. So I get that now. It's kind of jarring. I'll admit, it's jarring. So one of the things I want to do with myself going forward is I do want to start a couple other channels. And I do want to focus on them a little bit, but I'm mainly going to focus on this one. I'm telling you that right now. My main focus is still going to be on the gaming channel, because gaming's what I do. It's my life. I love gaming. You know, it'll never go away. I'm a gamer for life. I am. You know, I came to that conclusion many years ago. So, you know, unless drastic things change, you know, unless there's some drastic changes, I don't really see myself not gaming anymore. So I'm going to continue to make videos about the games that I love, but there is a definite hole in my life and emptiness in my life, guys, when it comes to the fact that I'm not making any kind of, you know, wholesome, or I can't, it's hard to use the right word, because I could say spiritual, right? But it's not all spiritual. You know, it's mostly principles, and just principles in general, and just like, you know, helping people, you know, giving back, altruism, whatever you want to talk about, altruism content. I think that could be an accurate statement. But I think there's definitely been an emptiness I felt from not doing that over the years, and not pursuing that, and not getting into that, and doing something about it, and releasing content about it. Because you guys don't know this, or may not know this, some of you might know, but I have a gold mine of knowledge when it comes to tips and tricks and tools for personal growth and change. I have a gold mine of information, of experience, of just... So I went from... You know what? I think I can say it. I don't know if I've said it before, but I can say it. I've been homeless before. And I climbed out of that. I got my life together, and I am where I am today. I've traveled the world, and I'm having new experiences every day. And compared to then, I am absolutely loving my life. I really am. There's some things about it I don't love, but overall, I am having the best life that I've ever had in a lot of respects. And I owe it to the things that I want to make, that I learned, that this stuff that I want to share with you guys. I owe it all to that. Some of it's spiritual, some of it's spiritual, but not all of it. Some of it's motivational, but a lot of it is basically principles, some philosophy, and just, and some call it like self-help, self-improvement. I think that word's kind of gotten a bad rap over the years. And I feel like it's deeper than that. It's basically just personal progression. What do you want to do? Like, what do you really want to be? Like, it's kind of like what Arnold said, like, what really makes you happy? And I've got a lot of ideas about that stuff. Why are we here? What do you want to accomplish while you're alive on this earth? I mean, I think I shared it on my gratitude video, but like, out of all the cells that could have came into being, out of all the atoms in the universe, we are here. All the possibilities, all the RNG, out of all the RNG, I am here sitting in this chair right now, talking to you guys. If you think about it hard enough, it'll blow your mind. If you consider, the facts. I mean, there's a lot of scientific evidence to suggest that life shouldn't have even happened, or that it shouldn't even exist. But why does it, But we'll talk about that some other time, right? I don't want to discuss all that during the show. But I want to make a video talking about this kinds of stuff. I mean, I want to make videos talking about this kind of stuff, and help, and come out with guides about just life, things people struggle with, like, maybe you got money issues, or, I just, and of course I'm going to be careful not to just, I don't want to get sued or anything, but I think I can do it safely, as long as I be careful. I think I can, make videos about life, and, such as, like, I could do guided meditations and kind of just give people kind of a blueprint to follow for their lives, if they wish, right? It's their choice, of course, if they want to do that. If they want to follow what I say. I'm not making anybody do anything, but, like, I want to guide people. I want to help people. I do. I want to give back. I want to be of service, I dare say. And I really do want to do that with my creation. And so it's really bothered me. It's something that's really bothered me over the years, that I haven't done more of it. So I want to start doing that. So I'm going to make a channel soon covering that stuff. So when I feel like, you know what, I don't really want to do a gaming video today, I feel like doing a spirituality video. I hate to, like I said. Now, I want to tell you guys, clarify something. I'm not religious, and I don't support a particular religion. And I want to clarify right now that just because I say I'm spiritual doesn't mean that I follow a religion. I don't think you have to be religious to be spiritual. There's two different things, I believe. In fact, I think really, every person on this world has a belief system of some kind. It's just, it varies from person to person, even if they're of the same religion or they're not. Everybody believes in something, whether they know it or not. That's been my experience. So I'm going to talk about things like that, right? And I want to, and I really, honestly, and that channel will be 100% selfless. That's the goal. If I make money from it, great, but it's not my focus. Like, I just want to give back. I just want to share what I've learned. If I can rescue one person, like if I can save one person from hell with the stuff I've learned, I can die happy. I've done my job. You know, it helps me live another day. As I tell you, it's service, really, helping others, giving back. You know, paying it forward. You know, paying before expecting to be paid. Giving to others before you expect something in return. You know, and you may not get something in return. That is a reward in and of itself to me. That has kept me out of the darkness for so many years you guys don't even know. It's one of the reasons I'm still doing this. I'm still doing this channel. You know? But yeah, so I want to do a channel about that stuff, you know. I want to dive into that stuff. And you know, it can get views or it won't. I really don't care. It's really more for me and for the good of all that I do it. I feel like that I'm doing something wrong if I don't come out with it. So I'm going to, and I'm going to share the knowledge, and you guys either will listen to it or you won't. And so there's that. Now the other channel I want to start, and you guys probably saw this coming from a mile away, but as you know, I am a huge Warhammer 40k fan. Now, I have thought many times in the past, it would be so cool if I could talk about this on my channel. So many times. But you know what stopped me every time is that this is a gaming channel, right? I admit that now. This is a gaming channel. We cover games here, not Warhammer 40k lore. So, now, we do crossovers here. Obviously, I have my Space Marine video, and you guys like that, and I appreciate your guys' engagement on that. I'm glad you guys liked it. But see, if I was to come out with videos right now on this channel where it just talked about the lore of 40k, I might get away with it, but I wouldn't get away with it long term. People would get annoyed. It's too jarring because it has nothing to do with video games. Now, it'd be one thing, like with my the video I did, the crossover I did with Stellaris and Space Marine 2. That's one thing because those are video games. They just happen to be in the Warhammer 40k universe. When it's a crossover like that, that's fine. But it's too jarring to go from gameplaying to book reading. You know, we're talking about books now? What? Those aren't games. Yeah, I can understand why somebody would come in and be like, but also myself, you know, it's like you watch somebody's channel to learn or think about a certain thing and you get something completely different. Now, sometimes it's okay. Like there are those of you that watch my meditation video. There are those of you who watch my, you know, my Philippines videos and whatever. And thank you. I appreciate it. And so I do kind of have another thing I need to mention here about going forward. Now this is going to be an until further notice thing, so it could change in the future. But as of right now, I simply don't have the motivation to be a vlogger. I don't have the motivation to do any Philippines content right now. I've just, you know, it took a couple months. I had to figure it out. Obviously, I had to do a lot of thinking about it because it was tempting, but I feel that for many different reasons, and some pretty big ones, I just am not going to pursue doing that from here on out, from this day forward. So I appreciate you guys that watch my Philippines videos, and if you did, I want to thank you for giving me a chance. I appreciate it, but yeah, that as of right now, I'm closing that door. That's not, so I'm making it official. So if you unsub, that I understand. I hope I don't lose you guys, but I probably will lose some people over that statement. But you know what? It is what it is. I don't want to string you guys along. I don't want to make you guys think, oh, he might come out with another Philippines video tomorrow. I mean, unless I say otherwise, until further, like I said, until further notice, that's not really my plan. I'm not really gonna do that. You know, that unlike Stellaris, I am gonna stop that completely. I don't really. Well, so I can go over a couple reasons why. All right. But there's a couple reasons that I will not go into because it will put my channel in jeopardy, and I don't want to do that. So the first reason is I have a lot of issues with showing my face. I do. And to do vlogger videos, you don't have to show your face, but it definitely is a popular thing to do. And I think for me, I'm still getting in shape. Now, I think I look a little better than I did, but it's still a work in progress. You know, my looks, my aesthetics, you know, my image is still a work in progress. I did a lot of damage to it over the past couple of years. So, I just, and look, this isn't, this is hard to say, but I just don't, I don't want to be one of those guys that thinks, you know, I know that when I say that I'm ugly, that it's not true. I know that I'm not the most hideous looking guy in the world, but I simply, and I've always believed that, why show your face unless you can bank on it? So I don't believe while I do believe I am attractive in many ways, I don't believe I'm attractive enough to really draw people in by my face alone. And until the day that I can do that, that I feel confident that I can do that, now I do think I'm much closer to that than I was. I just don't think I'm ready to show my face for the foreseeable future. So that's the other thing. I don't. And I'm just being honest, guys. I'm being honest and real. I'm being trying to be humble and have some humility. You know, I just I don't think people watch me because of how attractive I look visually. And until I can actually pull that, I'm 100% certain that I can pull that off. I just don't think it's really there's any point in it, really. Other than to humanize me, I'm sure it might humanize me, but then it also might dehumanize me more. Because assholes exist, and you know what? We all judge people on their looks. I don't care who you are. You're gonna judge. Everybody judges people based on their looks. And so I'd rather just not give people any reason at all to off-click on me if I don't have to, right? And also, the other part of this too, that a lot of people don't consider from the creator standpoint, video, you think mic work is bad? Video work is a pain in the ass, which is why I stopped doing it. I showed my face in the beginning when I first started this channel a long time ago, and most of you weren't there. But I deleted those videos and I stopped doing it because it is so much work. Video work is so much work. It really is. And, you know, so that's the other side of things. It's just one less headache for me when I'm producing, right? And I've seen many times, there's been examples that you can get just as many views and just as good a numbers not showing your face as you can showing your face. I don't believe anybody that tells you different. Because I'll point this out, and this sounds harsh, but all those people that say that you should show your face as a YouTuber in order to get views, and that's the optimal meta way to, first of all, I don't think there is a meta way to do content creation, okay? I don't think there is a holy grail method. You know, there's all kinds of different methods that work. But, you know, to the guys that say that there is and that showing your face is one of the things that you are required to do, I say to them, you're only saying that, dude, because you're attractive. because you are actually attractive. All right? Let's face it. You know, it's a common meme and joke, running joke, you know, for a long time, ever since the radio business started, that most people in radio, as popular as they are actually pretty hideous looking people. And this isn't me saying this. This is stuff I've heard over the years from other sources, you know, from the radio hosts themselves. I mean, and yeah, when you look at them, you're like, whoa, damn, I didn't know they looked like that, right? I'm sure some of you said that about me. I don't think you're watching, or subscribed, but you know, I'm pretty, you know, and I know for a fact that there were some assholes that when I first showed my face, the first video where I showed my face, gone, instantly gone. But that's human nature, right? So why even put human nature into the equation when you don't have to? So that's why I don't show my face anymore, guys. And that's why I'm not going to going forward. So yeah, sad to say, no more Philippines vlog build videos. It was a good experiment, and I did feel like I was obligated to do it since I did move here, but I've been here for some time now, and you know, I may change my mind. Like I said, it's until further notice. This is subject to change, especially if you guys start harassing me about it in the comments. Then I will definitely reconsider it. I definitely will think about doing it again, but until that happens, or until I become, you know, I know for 100% certain that I'm more attractive, or that I've got the looks to show my face. And I know that's subjective, right? And that also, and self-esteem is a part of that, but at the same time, when you look good, it's obvious. I have looked good in the past. Even though it wasn't to my satisfaction, I still had to admit to myself, yeah, I don't look that bad. Those pictures actually look pretty good. Or that picture looked pretty good. So I try to be objective. So anyway, so again, I may show my face in the future, but as of right now, that's not part of my plan. So moving forward, I pretty much, for now, I'm shutting the door on the Philippines content. So that's one reason why I'm not really doing the vlogger thing anymore. The other reason is there have been, I think I can say this. I can say this unequivocally. I can say this without getting canceled. There have been a lot of disappointments down here. There have. I have experienced a lot of disappointment. I still don't regret it, and I still love being here, but there are a lot of messages I got coming here that simply, I believe, though people would argue with me, aren't true. Okay? They're just not true. I don't believe they're true, and it's pretty evident that they're not. You know, and I'll leave it at that. There have been a lot of disappointments. A lot of challenges that I don't want to talk about, I don't really feel are appropriate to talk about. And you can take that as you will. That is, you know, it is what it is. You know, there's a lot of there was quite a bit of drama coming here. Now, I didn't get scammed or anything. I want to clarify. I didn't get scammed or anything. I haven't really had a terrible experience. There's a couple experiences I had that I think were maybe possibly close calls, or you know, unpleasant. You know, were unpleasant to say the least. You know, unpleasant things and unpleasant people that I had to deal with. I did have a couple of those situations, but other than that, you know, it has been great here overall. Like I said, I have never felt more secure in my whole life. If you're coming here for security, stability, if you're coming here for, you know, economic reasons, go for it, dude. Come here in a heartbeat. I would do it all over again. I love where I live. I love this apartment that I'm in. This is one of the best places I've ever lived in my whole life. Like, as far as just my condo, like my place of living. I am thoroughly loving it. I really am. I almost don't want to go outside. Okay? I almost don't want to go outside, but I make myself go outside, right? I got to be around people, you know, that's healthy, that's psychological. You gotta expose yourself to people now then, even if you're a hermit. You need to go outside and touch grass. I do believe that to an extent. However, I do also believe that you can get a lot of your connection, and I can prove this, and have proven it to myself and others. You can get a lot of your connection, despite what some YouTubers believe, online. Okay? Not going to go into details of what those things are, but you can do almost anything now digitally. However, the difference is it's not to the same degree and quality that you can get from face-to-face interactions or the outside world. So my stance going forward, for me personally, my attitude is, you know what, if I need to, I'll get it online, but if I can get it face-to-face, if I can get it out in the real world, then I'll do that. But I won't not do something just because I can't get it from the real world. That's not okay for me. You know, I get what I take it where I can get it. So, and we increasingly live in a world where it's just simply more and more difficult to be a part of a community, a face-to-face community, or you know, belong in person. And there's tons of videos out there complaining about this and stuff, but I don't think it's all a bad thing. I think the pandemic has, you guys may not know this or realize this, but there are people out there, and I'm one of these people, that actually the pandemic was the best thing that ever happened to them for a lot of reasons. It sounds crazy, right? And there was a lot of bad shit that happened to me during this pandemic. I got a blood clot in my lungs. I almost died. But there were some blessings, man. There were some definite blessings from being forced to do things online and being forced to learn how to get my connection with people online that I can't put a price on today. And I'm in the Philippines right now, and I'm all alone. You know? And that has messed with me a little bit. I don't think it's messed with me nearly as much as it would have if I didn't have the support groups that I have already online. And I don't think my brain and mind can completely tell the difference. Now, you know, there's taste, touch, and smell. Now, the sensory part of it, you know, the sensory part of the psychology, yeah, I can't get that from online. But as long as it's not that kind of issue, I think you're just as easily can get it online as you can in the real world. A lot of people don't think so. I disagree. I've had a different experience. But anyway, enough talk about that. So yeah. Sadly, guys, hate to say it, but I can only focus on so many things. That's the other reason why I'm not going to do Philippines going forward. Yeah, it's just too personal. I don't really feel I'm ready to expose myself like that also. And like I said, it's just too hard to talk about my experiences in the Philippines without getting demonetized. You know, or without getting canceled in some way. That's pretty much the truth. I want to abide by terms of service, and I don't want to, you know, lose all my subscribers. So, not that I would, but I just don't want to take that risk, right? I really don't, because there's a lot of controversial things that have happened to me since I've been here, that if I were to talk about them, it would piss a lot of people off. I'm telling you right now. There's the experiences I've had here. If I were to put voice to them and call them out, a lot of people would be hating me in the comments. From nowhere. From, you know, places I didn't even know existed. There'd be a lot of YouTubers that probably, if they saw the video, they would be very upset. Or they would say I'm full of crap. Because I have a very different opinion on some of the quote-unquote good reasons to come here, and that's the close I'm gonna get to saying what I want to say. I want to leave it with this. This is the last thing I'm going to say about the Philippines for a while. Come down here, but be very careful and really ask yourself why you're coming down here. Okay? What are the reasons you're going to the Philippines? Okay? You need to answer those questions for yourself. You really need to drill down deep and really get to the bottom of why that is. Why are you leaving? What are you hoping to get here? And you need to do your research and listen to all perspectives on the reasons you're coming over here. And there are some reasons for coming down here that I don't believe that you got to be very careful with. And a lot of them are really popular ones. A lot of the really popular I will say this, a lot of the really popular reasons guys have for coming to the Philippines, it ain't the way it seems. It ain't the way it seems at first. That has not been, I have not experienced that, you know, that has not been a part of my experience so far. And yeah, it has to an extent been disappointing, but you know what? That's life. And I've accepted it, and so I'm moving on. And, you know, and I still enjoy being here. I'm still enjoying my time here. So really, like I said, and I can't say this, if you're coming down here for, you know, economic reasons, you know, to have better quality of life, absolutely. I absolutely recommend the Philippines. But if you're coming here for anything else, and I think I can say this, if you're coming here basically for any reason that involves filling an emptiness inside yourself, and yeah, I think that's vague enough to be able to say. I wouldn't advise it. The Philippines is not going to fix your emptiness. Okay? Wherever you go, there you are. All right? And take that as you will. That's my perspective. That's my opinion. You know, I'm making it official. That's my official statement about the Philippines, is that come here for the right reasons. Don't come here for the wrong reasons. If you come here for the wrong reasons, you will get burned. Plain and simple. And I'm really grateful and glad today that I came here for the right reasons. You know, mostly. Most of the reasons I came here for, I have been not disappointed. You know, quality of life, and you know, just the people in general, they're so nice. They are really just, you can tell that they're really well-trained people, really, you know, good values, good principles, just all around, well, for one, they have a strong sense of, you know, they have a lot of there's a lot of family values there. So, I mean, that's no secret. So, I do respect that. That is, you know, the animals here, the pets, are very well trained. I have not had any issues. I honestly don't even know if I'm afraid of dogs anymore after this. Not here. In America, yeah, but not here. Like, I almost got mauled by a dog one time, so I've been afraid of them ever since. It's not something I really have a lot of control over. It's just, you know, it's just trauma work. It's just trauma work I have to work through. But I think really this place actually has been very helpful for that as well. My fear of dogs. I don't really fear dogs, at least not here. Like I said, they're so well behaved. That's something I noticed right away. You know, people really seem to take the time to train their animals here, and their pets, and, you know, train them well, and just like the mentality and everything, and just you know, the safety here. Now, I know this is BGC and this isn't the real Manila, and I have been to the real Manila. Okay, I have been there, but this is the Philippines. Okay, and I wanna make a little statement about this idea that if you're in BGC, you're not in the Philippines. And I think that's bullshit. Okay? The people here are the same as they are anywhere else. That's been my experience. And I don't... Now, however, I will agree and say, yeah, it is a lot safer here than it normally would be. You have to, you know, it is kind of a bubble. It is. It is kind of a bubble, but, you know, I just, I don't agree with people that try to tell me that, you know, I need to go experience the culture or whatever. I'm sorry, just, you know what? I like the city, bro. I do. I like the city. I like it here. I like this place. And I'm not going to feel guilty about it. You know? Plain and simple. And if you think I should, go fuck yourself. That's what I gotta say. And that's as hot as I'm gonna get on the Philippines issue, right? You know, you have a right to your opinion, but I do too. So, you know, my opinion is, let's go. I don't think there's anything wrong with staying in BGC and just staying here and enjoying it. And I'm doing that, you know? Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not gonna go take a trip once in a while, or that I'm not going to go to the beach or whatever. I do have intentions to go visit the beaches around here, you know. But as far as like going out of the province and living in the woods, I've lived in the woods my whole goddamn life. Why would I want to do more of that? I mean, you guys don't know this, maybe, or maybe some of you do, but dude, I grew up in the woods. I lived in Alaska for 10 years. I've seen enough outdoors to last 5 lifetimes. Okay, I'm not really interested or motivated to see more right now. I'm sorry. And be around bugs and all this. Like I said, I'm a different breed. I know. I'm not the majority. My views aren't the most popular ones when it comes to this. Most people want to be outdoors. Most people like, you know, they like the province, right? And look, I'm not shitting on those guys. You want to be out in the province? That's your prerogative, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you do you, man. I respect that. But don't come at me and tell me that there's anything wrong with me wanting to live in the city and be in BGC. There's nothing wrong with that either. So that's what I have a problem with. Kind of, that's something that's come up that's kind of irritating me a little bit. And I know I'm taking a little bit of a risk by even talking about it, but I think I can talk about that without getting canceled or demonetized, you know? So, yeah, dude, just, if you want safety, security, economic stability, go for it. Come here, man. I encourage you to come here. You know, that's great, you know, but again, you got to make sure you're coming here for the right reasons. If you're coming here to fill an emptiness, it's not going to work. You are still going to have the same problems that you had when you left. Okay? It is that simple. And I've known this for a long time, but I wanted to say it. And no, I'm not referring to anything that in particular that happened to me necessarily. I knew that coming over here. I knew that fact coming over here, that if I was going to come over here, I needed to come over here for the right reasons. And again, I'm glad I did. Because I tell you, some of the things that I came down here that I was curious about just didn't happen. They're not a thing. People think they're a thing, they're not. Not really. You know, things are not completely here what they seem. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, there have been a lot of pleasant surprises here too, for me. You know, I thought that I was going to get harassed at every street corner by some guy wanting money from me. I thought that was going to be a thing when I came down here. That hasn't happened. I can count on one hand. In fact, as far as the asking for money thing, I have not been begged once. In BGC, it has not happened to me one time, and I've ran around these streets. I have ran around these streets. Not one person, you know, harassed me for money or anything. The most that I've gotten is just, you know, flyers. They want to give you flyers. Okay, that's cool. So I take the flyers. I be polite, you know, I take the flyers and everything, and Now, I guess I'm doing a tell-all here. I guess I will. Not a tell-all. I can't tell everything, but I can't talk about this stuff. So that's been great. That's been a pleasant surprise, you know? I've really enjoyed that. Like, I was like, dude, like, all these videos I watched, they made it sound like, you know, that you're just a big, you just have a big dollar sign on your forehead when you come here. No, you don't. Not here anyway. Maybe in the province. I don't know. I haven't been there. But here in BGC, no. You're not going to run into any of that. People are just trying to, and that's the other thing that was a pleasant surprise too. People are just trying to get along. They're just trying to go to work. They're just trying to live their lives. They're not even thinking about you. They're not even looking at you. You know, and yeah, sometimes I felt like I was being watched as a foreigner, but most of the time, no, I don't get that at all. And there's enough foreigners here, of course, but not many. I'll talk about that in a second. But there's plenty of, you know, there's so much diversity here. That's the other thing. See, yeah, I'm a foreigner, but I'm not the only foreigner, and also, foreigners are all different shapes and sizes. You know, what about the Chinese foreigners? What about the Korean foreigners? The Japanese foreigners? This is like a melting pot of Asian cultures and Western cultures. It's actually pretty refreshing, actually. Now, you know, I've had some issues with multiculturalism in the past, but here it really works well. You know, you see all kinds of people from all walks of life, not just Filipinos. You know, and I really like that. I really appreciate that. I do. And I haven't been treated poorly. Yeah, I haven't been treated poorly at all. Not by anyone. I mean, I've had some annoying things happen, you know. I've been told to do some things that I wanted to rebel against, but, you know, I used my principles, and I was like, okay, you know what, just go along with what they're saying, dude. You know, they're just trying to do their job. I don't like what they're telling me to do, but I'll do it because those are the rules. So, and that's really the first piece of advice I would ever give coming down here is follow the fucking rules, dude. You're not in America. You can't just do whatever you want. And even in America, you can't do whatever you want. You know? Yeah, follow the fucking rules. Really, if you just go along with things. Excuse me. Okay. Sorry, I made a mess for a second there. So yeah, just when it comes to the Philippines, you gotta be respectful. You absolutely have to be respectful, or you're gonna have a bad time. You know, Asia is different than the West in that respect, very much so. They do not tolerate disrespect down here. Okay, you will get into trouble very quickly if you are disrespectful. So that's why when somebody tells me that, you know, I have to go put shoes on before I can go into the gym, you know, or I can't sprint here, I have to go somewhere else. I don't argue with them. I don't give them a dirty look. I say, I nod, I say, okay, thank you, and I leave. You know, I don't say another word and I leave. You know? And I'm polite. You know? When somebody said, no, come over here, I don't ask them why, I don't fight, I don't argue. I just do what they say. Because I'm the foreigner, I don't know shit about shit. How do I know they're not trying to save me from danger or something? So, you just gotta have street smarts, too, when you come down here, right? And so, yeah, the other, I was gonna talk about something else important here, about my time here. I guess, yeah, we were talking about how, well, you know, people are just people here. You know, you got people from all walks of life. Oh, yes. So I'm here right now to debunk this idea that's been prevalent in some videos that there are a shitload of foreigners here in BGC. That is not true at all. Like, you are not going to see a foreigner every single second when you're walking the streets here. It's more like how it really is. This is how it really is. When I go outside, I will see one foreigner for every maybe 100 Filipinos that I see. I'm telling you. Each block that I walk, I might see one foreigner. One. That's it. The rest are Filipinos, you know, and other Asians. You know, other Asian people of different, you know, all kinds of different cultures and countries. But as far as, like, you know, white foreigners, you know, like myself, you know, they're still pretty rare. They're not common. Now, where I live, here in this building, yeah, I do see a little bit more foreigners, but even here, in this building, when I get in an elevator, chances are it's going to be a Filipino. It's not going to be a foreigner. I see way more Filipinos even here, and way more other Asians, you know, non-Filipino Asians here than I see of anyone that looks like me, you know? So, no, this place is not crawling with foreigners. You don't, you know, really, it's that all that's in our heads. Now that, you know, it's like, I can tell you that's just, you know, you don't need to worry about that at all. Like, you don't need to worry about the frequency of foreigners here in BGC. You really don't. You just come here and you live. You come here and you live, and you don't have expectations. So that's kind of the other thing I do want to say is that it's really best that you come here alone without expectations. And for the most part, I did that. But I did have expectations about a couple of things, and it did hurt me. It did hurt because I got disappointed, right? So that has messed with me behind the scenes, and I don't talk about it. And I'm not going to say any details about it, or what it is. But yeah, I mean, I have had disappointments here, but you know what? Overall, it's been great. Like I said, if you're coming here for the right reasons, this is a great place to be. But if you're coming here for the wrong reasons, stay away, dude. Just try to make it work where you're at, or go somewhere else. You know, that's basically, I know that's really vague. That's about as accurate as I can be right now, while preserving my channel. So, and not getting a lot of hate. So, I mean, I'll get hate enough about the whole gotta see the culture comments, you know? If they watch this. I don't know if anybody will. This has only got 22 views, so I don't really... Like, really, I just use this to speak my mind, talk shit, you know, discuss some things that are relevant to the channel, or at least somewhat relevant to my life. You know. So, back to Warhammer 40k. I would like to... So I am going to start a 40k channel. I already have some pretty fucking cool ideas, I think are pretty fucking cool, that I want to talk about that I haven't heard any other 40k YouTuber talk about. At all, not even the AI channels. There's a lot of those right now, by the way. So, that gives me another reason to start this, but I think that some of them are pretty stinky. Some of those AI channels, the AI 40k channels, are pretty stinky, and I'd like to breathe some fresh air into the whole thing. But so I'll talk about a couple of those ideas that I have for Warhammer 40k for you 40k fans that watch this. The first thing I'm going to talk about is I think I want to focus on theories, at least at first. Theories, in my opinion, I don't really want to do a lot of narration or storytelling. I kind of want to avoid that a little bit. I could probably do it, but I've had limited success with storytelling in the past, so I just want to be aware of my limitations. But definitely sharing opinions, I mean, you see the numbers lately, right? I just got 2,000 views because I shared my opinion, so, I mean, yeah. So, it can be done, but anyway... So the first idea I really want to talk about, other than the obligatory Primarch tier list that I want to do as well, is the idea of where Rogel Dorn is. Where is he right now in the current setting? And before the End of the Death series came out, there was a lot of evidence to suggest that he just died, right? However, what they did with Rogel at the end of the Siege of Terra, with the last books of the Siege of Terra, they have just completely blown the door wide open on ways for Rogel Dorn to come back and make it believable and not just complete bullshit, right? And not have it be a complete retcon. Make it believable. I think because of the End of the Death, because of how that was written and what happened to Rogel when he attempted to teleport to the Vengeful Spirit, I think there's an actual real legitimate reason as to his whereabouts right now. And those of you that have read End of the Death Volume 1, you know what I'm going to say. And that is, he's in the desert. Rogel's in the desert right now. That's my theory. I could place money on it. Because we've all thought about how Rogel Dorn could possibly return without it looking retarded. And the truth is, there wasn't any. Until now. I, for one, think it would be a fantastic story. I loved Rogel in the desert, dude. There's a channel I watch called, it's like DQV or something like that. He does voiceovers. I've watched his skit, his bit on reading Rogel and the Rogel in the desert parts of End of the Death. I've listened to that over and over again. It's fascinating. I love it. And it was amazing. And I'd love to see a part 2 to that. See, that's what I think they're gonna do. That's my theory. That's what I place a bet on. My opinion is that Rogel is in the desert, and that he is going to, and there's going to be a book about him being in the desert and how he comes back. Now, when is this going to happen? I don't know. But see, they now have a workable story to bring him back to the setting without it looking extremely retarded, right? They can easily just say that he was in the desert this whole time. And in the desert, it talks about how he was there for centuries in his mind. He was there for centuries. But, in warp time, he was in there for centuries, and he's a Primarch, right? He's got that Primarch mind, that perfect mind. He doesn't have any trouble telling what time it actually is. So chronologically, he might as well have a computer in his head. So he knows. I mean, it's a fact. So he did spend centuries in there, but time in the warp is different than time in the real world. So I think it was a beautiful, beautiful setup for this, because now you can say, okay, now that opens the door, all right, Rogel is, since time doesn't work in the warp the way it does in the real world, only a few days had passed since Rogel teleported or tried to teleport. But Khorne had Rogel in there for centuries. Well, you could say the same thing here, that Rogel, it felt like to Rogel that he was only there for 3 or 4 days, but in real time, 10,000 years had passed. This is how weird and crazy the warp is, right? The warp has no rules when it comes to time. It really doesn't. That's my opinion. It hasn't been stated anywhere, but based on what I've gathered from hearing other YouTubers and reading the books, the warp really doesn't have any rules. That's why it's called chaos, right? So, they could easily set it up to where, the time goes in the opposite direction, where time in the material world goes really fast, but time in the warp slows down, right? Or maybe they could just they could keep the same time frame and just have Rogel be an old man like Lionel Johnson. That's something they could do too. But I think really Now, I'm not saying that they're going to bring Rogel Dorn back next, but really have a hard time believing that they went through all those shenanigans and set that whole plot line up with Dorn versus Korn, and to never use that as to not use that as an excuse to bring him back, because it's just too good. It's too plausible. Like it's very obvious that it's a setup, right? That they're setting this up so that Rogel has a reasonable way to return. Because, you know, Korn could have easily scooped him up from that ship on, you know, during the Black Crusade where he disappeared. And that's where he is right now. In fact, I think that's what happened. That's what Games Workshop is going to come out with. They're going to, you know, Rogel's in the desert right now. That's the premise of my video, is that Rogel is in the desert right now. You know, that's where he is. You want to know where he is? I place a bet that that's where he is. He's in the desert right now, sucking sand, fighting Korn, you know, with his mind. You know, so that's and that would make, I think that would make for an epic book. Really, I would love, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I would love to see a book devoted 100% to, you know, Rogel in the desert, some kind of Rogel in the desert book. That'd be great. I would love that, you know. I think it was very well written. I really, now, you know, obviously there's people out there, they think Primarch shouldn't come back, all that stuff. I don't want to get into that discussion right now. I will sometime, obviously, but not right now. But you know, but I think really, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna bring Rogel Dorn back, I can't think of a better way to do it than what they did. Honestly, the Rogel in the desert bit was a masterpiece. It really was, and like I said, it's probably the best possible setup they could have come up with. Rogel's just in the warp. He's getting fucked with by Korn. That's what's happening right now. So it's that simple. So that's the first video. That's the first you know, video I really want to focus on, that I'm going to work hard on for that channel. To kick it off. It's not gonna be the first one. The first one will be a Primarch tier video, and it'll be kind of casual and kind of, you know, and then the obligatory introduction. But yeah, so those are my plans for the Warhammer 40k channel. I'll be coming out with videos like that, you know, theory videos, opinion videos, you know. I want to point stuff out that, like, people that hasn't been discussed yet. Like, another idea that I had rattling in my head too for a video is you know, covering Horus Rising and kind of like just, you know, and the thesis that it's my opinion, like my theory that Horus really died in that book. The real Horus died at the planet, I forgot what the planet was called, but the home of the Interrex. He really died when the Interreg relations fell apart. I think that was actually really his first death. He was not the same after that. He was clearly different. He was never, you know, the good-natured person he was gone, and he was just an asshole from that point on. Asshole in the good way at first, you know. He just stopped giving a shit, and I really believe that at least a large part of Horus died at that moment. He just stopped giving a shit at that moment. You know, I think yeah, I think a lot of, not all of the good in him died that day, but I think a lot of it did, even before he got corrupted, you know. Have kind of a soft spot for Horus in that regard. I do have some sympathy, some compassion for what happened to him. I don't, like, obviously what he did was terrible, you know. Obviously he's the main antagonist of at least the Horus Heresy, if not the whole storyline, or he's an infamous character, right? But really, you gotta respect who he was at the beginning of, you know, the kind of guy he was at the, you know, during the Crusade and at the beginning of Horus Rising. You know, you got a glimpse of the real Horus, and I tell you, the real Horus wasn't a bad guy. I don't think he's perfect, you know. And then there's some things he did prior to that I don't agree with. Like I don't agree with him, assaulting Malcador, or saying some of the things he said to Malcador during that altercation. But other than that, you know, in Horus Rising, he was presented pretty well as a pretty down to earth, all around good guy. He just wanted to make things work. He wanted to, you know, like, especially with his attitude towards the Interrex, he wanted peace. He did. He wanted to progress the Imperium. You know, he wanted to make the Imperium better, and he did see a future, right? But I think after that happened, that part of him died, I think. So I kind of wanted to analyze that a little bit, talk about that. I haven't seen any other channels talk about that really. Also, god dang it, I want to defend the Emperor. I'm sick and tired of all these people bashing the Emperor, man. So I'm gonna be his defense attorney on this channel as well. I can't really, with a straight face, come out with the Emperor did nothing wrong video. No, yes, the Emperor did make some mistakes, but I don't think he's this evil entity that people are painting him out to be. You're ridiculous. That's my opinion anyway. I disagree with anyone that says that the Emperor is malevolent. No, he's not. The Emperor is not malevolent, okay? The Emperor is brutal, but he is not malevolent, okay? There are good reasons for why he did and does the things that he does, okay? Obviously, there are things he did that even I don't agree with, like his treatment of Angron. I thought that was fucking stupid. I thought that was a pretty dumbass move for him. You know, his treatment of Angron, yes, okay? And, you know, and I am a spiritual person, so obviously I don't agree with him 100% on, on the idea that God doesn't exist and that, and that religion should be expunged. I mean, I'm not religious, but I do respect religion. So, I mean, atheism's never been my thing. Not looking down on atheists, not saying anything bad about them, but like, you know, yeah, I have a little bit of a negative opinion on his, enforced atheism that he tried to enforce across the galaxy. That was kind of a, that was a little sketchy. But other than that, really, I think overall the Emperor this whole time has really, and he's proven time and time again, in many subtle ways, that he does have humanity's best interests in mind. He does. He has the best of intentions. Now, I know intentions aren't everything, and I know that saying, oh, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Well, if you don't have intentions, what do you have? You gotta have goals. You gotta work towards something. Yeah, the Emperor effed up. He effed up a lot. No question about that, but the Emperor is not an evil entity. I refuse to believe that. There is no evidence to support that. Not really. I mean, the Emperor, at worst, the most you can say is that the Emperor was being amoral and doing what he had to do. Kind of like the governor in The Walking Dead, or, you know, Negan. And like, the most you can say is that he has a distorted opinion, right? You know, especially like when it comes to, you know, spirituality and religion and believing in a higher power. Obviously, yeah, that's a little sketch, right? But overall, as far as like the interests of humanity and wanting to see humanity do well and thrive, I really do think he's actually pretty selfless. And just about everything he does, and it's pretty obvious that, to me, that most of everything he does, at least in his mind, he is doing for the good of humanity. And that is his top priority. It always has been. That's been Malcador's top priority. And, you know, so I don't get on board with, I'm not going to be getting on board with any of these haters that say that the Emperor is a malevolent entity. I think the Emperor at worst is a flawed entity. Okay, I mean, so not saying that everything he does is right or just. Obviously, like I said, he's done some dumbass things. Like, you know, I think actually, and I do want to talk about one of the stupidest things that the stupidest thing I think he did, hands down, was not tell the Primarchs about Chaos. That was, I do not understand that at all. And the reasons that were given for that don't make any sense to me. I just think they're wrong. I think you're still wrong, dude. Still, that's not a good enough answer. Like, that's not a good enough reason. You know, I mean, I was in the military, right? And we would have briefings about our enemies, right? We wouldn't, you know, we always had briefings about the enemy, who they were, you know, what they were doing, background story, even background stories, you know, about our targets or whatever, or, you know, whoever we were on the lookout for, or whatnot, and things to watch out for them and their tactics and things. So knowing the enemy, knowing where the enemy is critically important if you have that information. And you know, it's very critical that you make your forces and your allies aware of that enemy, right? Or at least you're aware of that enemy. And I think it was a real F up. I got a call. I'll be right back, guys. I'm here. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for those of you that waited. Appreciate it. That was a good friend of mine. I'm currently helping him with some issues that he's having, so I had to take that call and just kind of, you know, help him out. I love helping guys out. I really do. I actually do it on a regular basis. It's very, like, it's one of the things that's kept me alive over the years. So yeah, I'm gonna start a Warhammer 40k channel. I'm gonna start a, you know, a spirituality, you know, slash motivational slash philosophy channel, you know, self-help channel, whatever you want to call it. I don't have a good name for it yet. I'll figure it out. Hey, Heis, how's it going, dude? Good to see you again, man. And again, sorry I've been away for so long, guys. I do, that's another thing. I do want to, switch gears now and talk about streaming. My plans for streaming, they are going to continue. I will start streaming again. I have missed it. And as to what games I'm going to stream, that is up in the air. But I do feel that I probably could start streaming Stellaris again, and kind of like maybe that's how I cover Stellaris from now on. Is I just stream it and then I release shorts about it. But as far as my videos, I just, you know, I do videos on other stuff. And if they take, I'll do shorts about them and things like that. But like, I think, you know, with Stellaris, I'll just leave it at that. I think with the videos of the Stellaris, I've pretty much covered what I need to cover. Also, obviously, you know, there's things I talked about in my previous video. Yeah. There are things about Stellaris that are bothering me and that are motivating me to not play it. You know? Not indefinitely, but yeah, I think I definitely do need a break from Stellaris. It just, you know, for the most part, other than the stream in the morning, you know, the hour and a half in the morning that I stream, the rest of the day I'm playing something else, you know? Anyway, so yeah, I want to start a couple more channels. Somebody suggested that I started a channel just for Stellaris, but I don't think that would be a good idea. So, just any of those of you that were wondering that, I don't really plan on doing that at this time. I think I can keep all the games under one umbrella. I think that, but the other stuff I need to them to have their own umbrella, because I just don't think it's too jarring for my viewers. I think, not that I can speak for them, but you know. I mean, as a viewer myself, I realize it's probably, again, it's quite easy to go from one game to another, but then to go from one game to spirituality, that doesn't really make sense. That's not really a good segue, right? So it would make more sense to have those be on a separate channel for me. That's how it does make sense to me to start something else. So I am gonna, I don't know when. I'll keep you guys informed the best I can. But yeah. So I'll be starting 2 more channels. I don't even know what to call them yet. I have some ideas. I was really thinking about, well, at least with the 40k channel, I'm pretty sure I'm going to name it Volairen 40k. So you know that it's my channel, but that it's discussing 40k, right? And it doesn't have Warhammer in it, or else I get in trouble for that, because, you know, Games Workshop is dumbasses. I love their content, but they are, yeah, I don't have a high opinion of them themselves as a company. I think they're making a lot of mistakes. You know, well, for one, I'll tell you about Games Workshop. One of the things I'm absolutely against as to what they did. I mean, other than a couple obvious ones that I won't get into because that would get me in trouble. Can't really talk about that safely, is when they canned all of the animation channels on YouTube. That was a real dick move, I think. I was one of those people that was affected when text-to-speech device got taken down. That was a huge part of my life. I watched that shit every day. That was so hilarious. Like, if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device, that is like one of the most hilarious parodies I've ever seen of an IP. And I think the only reason that, like, Bruva Alpha Busa had only 300,000 subscribers and not 30 million is because of the fact that he was covering Warhammer 40K and it wasn't about, something more popular, right? But the humor in that is off the hook. Like, just as it relates to lore, like, it is, man, if you're a Warhammer lore junkie and you have not watched text-to-speech device, you need to watch it, dude. Like, you are going to get so many laughs. It's just, yeah, I used to binge watch that show, that series all the time. And GW killed it. GW killed that. I'll never forgive them for that. Because of GW, we will never see the conclusion to that series. We'll never see the conclusion to that story. We'll never see what happens. What happens after, after Kitten gets killed. Hate to spoil it for people, but yeah. Okay, playing Stars right now. I got a quick question. How do I unlock science building slots for habitats? It only gives me limited energy and a bunch of industry. Okay, so you've got to build habitation, or you've got to build what are they? God damn it! What are they called? I had it on my head. I forgot. I think their modules are just, like, basically when you build the habitat itself and then you build the habitat parts on the different planets. Orbitals. Yes. You build orbitals on the science resource planets. So whatever planet has a science resource on it, you have to build an orbital on there first for it to appear on your habitat. Okay? Yeah, so just do that and you should see it. If you don't, let me know. Or you're doing something wrong. I mean, or you're overlooking something, because that's how it works, basically. So that's how you take advantage of research systems. Really good tactic, by the way. Talking about Stellaris, like, yeah, if you're doing habitats, yeah, get some science habitats. They're really good. They're some of the best. Yeah. So, yeah, how do you like the new habitats, by the way, Echo? And Echo, welcome back, dude. We're just talking shit here, Echo, about anything really. I'm just saying hi to everyone again. I don't know when I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm feeling like I might soon, because I do need to go run some errands. Oh, much better than previous ones. The only real problem I have with the new changes or the recent changes, I mean, most recent changes to orbitals and habitats, are the fact that the habitability stat starts out as dog shit. And I don't even think you can increase it unless you're a specific origin or civic. I don't even think you can increase it with orbitals, which is something they need to change. They need to make it so that you can improve habitation with orbitals. Because I don't mind having to work for something, but just having it be impossible is stupid. Having it not be achievable at all is kind of dumb. That doesn't leave any room for growth. So, like, yeah, but you know what? I wrote a video about it. I made a 30-minute long video about it. I've talked about it to death. I've made streams about it. So I'm really not open right now to just discussing it anymore about, the imbalance in Stellaris. I think I've made my point. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'm ready to move on now to other topics. For sure. No offense, but like, and I'm not saying I won't ever talk about it again, but like, I am going to try to, I'm going to keep steering it to something else. Because I just don't want to. I don't want to have another 2-hour discussion about it. I'm just done with it. Me personally, right? I mean, I'll answer questions, sure, but like, you know, I don't me I won't talk about it forever. You know. Okay, you've been listening most of the stream. Okay. Do you have any feedback for what I've said? Echo, do you have any? I mean, I value your feedback, man.
The text you would like me to give feedback on. The content of your message to be able to provide any helpful feedback. Once you provide the text, I can help you with the.
Wow. Fuck off, please. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can uninstall this app on my phone. Let's go ahead and disable. I never use it, and it does that. So bye. Yeah, sorry about that, dude. Yeah, they are spying on me, right? Yeah, sometimes my phone does that, guys. Hopefully it won't do that particular thing anymore, but because I just disabled it. So you're really excited for the idea of a Warhammer channel. Yeah, you know, I know a lot of fans, a lot of new viewers on my channel, they like Space Marine 2, and you know, let me tell you, if you like Space Marine 2, you're going to love my 40K channel. It's going to tell you, it's going to help you learn about all the backstory behind Titus and his Legion, and Marty's Calgar, and all the characters in that story, and then Bermuda Gilliman, which I'm going to talk about a lot. And I'll tell you what, yeah, I'll admit it right here and now, and no shame, I am a Bermuda Gilliman fanboy, dude. And it really doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter if he was blue or if he was another color. You know, to me, he means way more to me. Like, it's not because he's an Ultramarine. It's not because of anything that has to do with his Legion. It's just him, dude. I think he is one of the greatest characters, you know, like overall, like, you know, as far as like, that's, you know, as far as like character I can look up to and respect, like an ideal, as far as like an ideal of what a good character is, like a good person, like, you know, morally good, or something to, you know, emulate. Yeah, fucking dude, I am hard for Bermuda Gilliman, dude. Really, like, well, you know, a lot of people quote him, right, and say they just point to the bit where he's like, you know, better to see everybody die in Horus's ambition than live to see this. But they hardly ever talk about what he says afterwards. I think it's a real tragedy. They should say the whole thing, because he says afterwards he changes his mind about that, and he goes, you know what? Look at all my sons here still fighting, even though the light is dying. There's still hope yet. And he goes forward, and then he does the Indominus Crusade and does what he did, right? And also, I have mad respect for Bermuda Gilliman, because I think he's actually saved humanity more times than on his record than any other Primarch. In fact, maybe even the Emperor himself. I think he's saved the Imperium multiple times. Am I missing a research tech, or did they nerf orbital rings? I don't have the orbital rings living spaces. Man. Are you talking? Okay. If you are talking about the modules that give you more districts, I forgot exactly what they're called, but I know that you do need tech. You need anti-grav tech to get those. Okay, you do need anti-grav tech to get those, and keep in mind you're going to need influence too. So they do cost influence. So if you're running low on influence, you might want to save if you want those. Okay. So yeah, but yeah, you need anti-grav technology. It's basically weather control systems, I think is what it's called. That's the first prerequisite, and then anti-grav technology. You get those two, and then you can make those. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Looks like it did. Yeah, so back to 40K, right? Like, I'm looking forward to being able to talk about Bermuda Gilliman and why I'm, you know, why he's so awesome and all that stuff, and piss everybody off that hates him, piss off all the haters and just kind of, it's all good fun, right? We all jab at each other, right? Especially you Lehman Russ lovers out there. You're going to hate me. You're going to hate me with a passion because I hate Lehman Russ. I do. He's either my least favorite Primarch or he's my second least favorite Primarch, as far as loyalists are concerned. Maybe even just period. Yeah, I do not like Lehman Russ. So that's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of trash talk there, right? Between me and Space Wolf fans, right? I don't like Space Wolves either. I actually like the Space Wolves even less. I actually like Lehman Russ more than I like his Legion. So like I really don't like the Space Wolves either. So and it's not just because, in fact, I'm not even as big of a Magnus fan as I used to be, But however, I am a lion lover. I am, as Texas Speech Device says, a lion lover bitch. I am one of those. I thought that bit was so funny where it's like, and you, Dark Angel. He's like, just stop breathing. He's like, what did you? And he just goes off on him. That's hilarious, dude. Yeah, but it's all good fun, man. I look forward to having that rivalry, right? Just, talking that trash. But, I am now, I want to say that as of right now, I don't really have a favorite Legion per se. And I mean, as far as favorite Primarch, it's really tied between Lionel Johnson and Robuda Gilliman. And I tell you, I'm super hard. Honestly, if I were to say what is my favorite Primarch, I would actually just say Imperium Secundus. Really. Those are my Primarchs. Imperium Secundus is my Primarchs. Sanguinius, Lionel Johnson, Robuda Gilliman. I'm hard for all of them. Sanguinius not as much, and not as much at first. I didn't jump on the Sanguinius train right away, but after listening to his speech at the Gates of Terra, dude, I'm telling you, honestly, that is one of the most emotional speeches I've ever heard. And I mean, yeah, it's just about 40K. It's in a fictional setting, but dude, like, man, you guys aren't going to believe this, but I actually do get tears in my eyes when I hear that speech. Every time. That's why I don't listen to it very often. I want to listen to it all the time, but I get so emotional. It's like, dude, I don't want to do this again, right? It's like, it's like what if you have a movie out there that's every time you watch it, it's made you cry, right? I mean, now I'm not saying that everybody's like that, obviously. And look, I'm being really vulnerable here right now. I probably shouldn't even be saying this. I probably shouldn't even be telling you guys. It makes me look bad, right? Why the hell are you crying about a speech? You wussy, Nah, yeah, I get it. It's just, nah, man. It's I guess it's the whole bit about, not it's right to oppose them not because it is wrong, because it is right. I choose to die here, and I choose to give my life for what is right. Not just because I can win. Man, that moves me so much, especially with what's going on, what's happened over the years, and just, my life, and just really just resonates with me so much. I fell in love with Sanguinius when I heard that speech. How can you not? I mean, to anybody who understands what I'm talking about, how can you not fall in love with that speech? How can you not fall in love with Sanguinius hearing those words? Like, really just... And then the most popular video that talks about that, very well done voice acting there too. Just enhances the whole thing. So yeah, if you've never heard the speech of Sanguinius at the Siege of Terra, you gotta hear it, dude. It's one of the most powerful speeches I have ever heard. And it's from a fictional setting. It's not even a real life speech. and it's up there with some of the real life speeches I've heard from the greats of history, right? There's just it's off the hook, man. It's off the chain, honestly. And honestly, I see a lot of parallels for the real world and what Sanguinius says, kind of like, basically the idea is that even though our back's against the wall and it looks like there's no hope, I'm going to do this because it's the right thing to do, because that's all I have. At the end of the day, I could run, I could flee, I could try to preserve myself, but like at the end of the day, for what? Just to regret the rest of my life that I didn't do anything? It's powerful, man. It's just, yeah. So yeah, that is what sold me on Sanguinius. So like, yeah, Imperium Secundus, Sanguinius, Lionel Johnson, Roberta Gilman. Let me talk about Lionel Johnson, dude. Yeah, I totally jumped on the bandwagon when he got released. I totally jumped on the bandwagon. Like, but it was because of the book, because of the Son of the Forest. That is, I think that even out of all the Horus Heresy books, I think that's the best book in 40K ever. I think that is the best book that has ever been written for 40K. It is an absolute masterpiece. Even if you're not a Dark Angel fan, I think after you read it, like, you could hate Lionel Johnson. I think if you read that book, that even if you hate Lionel Johnson, you'll respect him afterwards. Even if you disagree with him and hated how he was in the Horus Heresy, you will fall in love with him after reading this book. You will fall in love with the Dark Angels. I'm telling you. Or at least have a new appreciation for them or a new respect for them. Even if you're a Space Wolf, I'm telling you, even if you're a Space Wolf, dude, watch Son of the Forest or read Son of the Forest, dude. It is, I'm telling you, it's the best written work in the Warhammer universe, I think, in the Warhammer 40K universe that I've ever read. Just one of the best books I've ever read or listened to. There's so many great principles in there, like brotherhood, integrity, that just so many messages about, you hear all the time about, about masculinity, right? Like a lot of really positive masculine messages in that book, just and themes and just, stories, like just, yeah, you can't, it's priceless, man. It's a masterpiece, dude. Like I said, that is my favorite book, Lion, Son of the Forest. You take a broken Primarch, because he was. When he woke up, he was broken. Lionel Johnson was broken after Caliban. And now this is my opinion, but it's pretty obvious that Lionel Johnson was fucked up when he woke up. And he went through a hero's journey and a healing process that is one of the best that I've ever heard or ever seen in a book. That hero's journey, Lionel Johnson, really, that's what was going on. And just, that was his redemption story arc, right? One of the best redemption story arcs I've ever seen, right? Because there's a lot there. Let's face it, there is a lot of reasons to hate the old Lionel Johnson, right? There's a lot of stupid shit that Lionel Johnson did in the heresy. No, even I'll admit that. He is not a perfect guy, not at all, by a long shot. He definitely has his flaws, but dude, in Son of the Forest, he overcame, and to an extent in the Lion and Arcs of Omen, he overcame them, he transcended them, and then he made things right. Like, that's kind of the other thing that really moves me about that book, is just, it's talking about the principle of forgiveness. It really is so powerful. Like, you want to read a book about the concept of forgiveness, man. That I can't think of a better book to really, a better story about the principle of forgiveness. And, and Lionel Johnson did that beautifully in that book. Like, just really, like I said, just that book did more to humanize Lionel Johnson than anything I've ever seen. Like it was nuts. You almost couldn't believe what you were reading. Like, wow, this is so amazing. You know, I mean, the camaraderie, the brotherhood, you know, the humility that, you know, especially, I love, of course, you know, for those of you that read it, you know, I love the part about Lionel Johnson meditating and his thoughts about it. Like, you know, he's like, I'm annoyed because I'm good at everything, but I'm not good at this. Like, you know, like a Primarch meditating is kind of weird, right? But it was great. Like, it just, yeah, here's something you don't know a lot about, dude. Like, it humanized him even more, you know? And of course, he was trying to use it to work on his Force Walk, and it helped him. And Zabriel helped him to do this. And, you know, Zabriel was also a very human space marine, right? It really just, you know, I think really it basically took everything that was lacking about Lionel Johnson and the Dark Angels and turned it on its head and made it do a 180 and go in the exact opposite direction. As far as like this book, Son of the Forest, in one fell swoop, it humanized the Dark Angels. It humanized Lionel Johnson, made him likable, made him relatable, made the Dark Angels likable and relatable. You know, especially for newcomers, right? People who don't know them very well. Like, and you know, kind of put the memes to rest, so to speak. I mean, the memes will always be there, but like, they're not as true anymore, right? So, you know, Lionel Johnson does trust people more now. He does have more faith, and while and there's even some parts where he talks about where Lionel Johnson says to himself that like thinks to himself that like, okay, yeah, I don't believe the Emperor's a god, but I would rather these people, and he basically at least insinuates that he would rather the people worship him and his father than worship the Chaos Gods. And he understood that. Why that was actually because see, that's one of the things I do like about him is that he is still through and through very pragmatic, very practical. You know, he's a very pragmatic, very practical Primarch. If you think about it, he doesn't operate off emotion. He or at least he tries his best not to. Right? He's not an emotional Primarch, and that's a real advantage. It is. I don't place as much weight on emotions myself personally as a lot of people do. You know, I believe in doing the right thing and character and all that, and you know, being good. But like, you know, I don't believe in doing things just because they make you feel good. I think that's the path to Slaanesh, guys. You don't want to go down the path to Slaanesh. Yeah, I'm not a believer as much as now my dark side loves Slaanesh. You know, the you know, my flaws and failings, they love Slaanesh, but I, you know, the good, you know, my good wolf or light wolf, so to speak, you know, does not endorse chaos. But you know what though? I mean, you guys know what my favorite Chaos God is. I can't. I don't even have a say in the matter. You guys probably tell already just by watching my videos that, man, this guy sounds kind of angry. Man, this guy's got some rage, and you've heard me rage. I'm ashamed to admit it, but yeah, I have raged a couple times on these streams, you know, live. I don't do it on my videos, or I try not to, but yeah, dude, I got a lot of anger in me. You know who I'm worshiping. You know who the blood is for, right? I think that's why I like Rookle in the Desert even more, right? I love the bit about him, you know, I just want to stop thinking. I want to grab my sword and I just want to fight. Dude, I can relate with that so much, right? It's just like, I mean, that's why I play Vampire Survivors. That's why I play Vampire Survivors and Path to Exile, because it's like, I just want to kill shit, dude. I don't, you know, blood for the blood god. I don't want to think. I want to fight. I want to take out my aggression on something. I don't want to sit there and be logical all the time, right? So, yeah, like, I mean, yeah. So I guess for those of you who want to know, if I was a chaos worshiper, Khorne all the way. I mean, some of the other chaos gods, I identify with. I mean, obviously, I have Slanesh problems in real life. Everybody who's ever had a problem with vices, and that's all I'm going to say, will tell you that they have a problem with Slanesh. You know, yeah, I think really vices are just Slanesh in general. So it's just like, yeah, I mean, I think really kind of the chaos gods kind of represent the different dark. I mean, they in canon do represents the dark parts of humanity, the not so pleasant things about us, right? As a civilization, as a people, as a culture, right? You've got lies, scheming, anger, wrath, fighting, killing, murdering, all that stuff. And you got all the Slanesh stuff, which you can't say on YouTube without getting punished, or at least getting your hand slapped. YouTubers have complained about this, and I probably will at some point. Like, damn, I want to talk about Slanesh, but I can't because I get demonetized, right? or I won't make any money off the video itself. You know what I mean? Like, especially the rules that the algorithm has for you saying bad things in the beginning of the video, right? So just at the very least, you'd have to wait 3 or 4 minutes before you could actually start talking about Slanesh, right? So so yeah, that's kind of a running joke, but yeah, I mean, I think really just the chaos gods represent the dark side of us all, or the dark things that we have to encounter, like Nurgle. I mean, we all ran to Nurgle a few years ago with coronavirus, right? with COVID. That was definitely the work of Nurgle there. And then you got, and then I'm intimate with Nurgle because I have chronic illness. Thanks, Nurgle. Thanks for all the diseases that you put on me over the years. Yeah, if I was a chaos worshiper, right, I'd be but I think like my heart, my psyche would be Khorne, but then my body would be Nurgle, and then my my bad decisions would be Slanesh for sure. my decision making would be Slanesh. Yeah. All the problems I've had with decision makings in my past, in my personal past, have been Slanesh problems. You can take that as you will, but like, yeah, I mean, I think some of the biggest mistakes I've made in my life were Slanesh related, and then some of the biggest challenges I've had to deal with were Nurgle based, right? Disease, chronic illness. As you know, I have thyroid problem. I have all these illnesses that mess with me hardcore. I think. And then you got Khorne. Khorne is my anger's constant. Like, I have done a lot of work on it over the years, actually. I wouldn't call it therapy, but like, and some of the stuff I'll teach in the other channel that I'm going to start, talks about how to deal with anger and how to, basically anger management to a degree. If you're an angry guy, stay tuned. I'll give you some tools that'll help you. I am a lot less angry today than I was, for sure. Absolutely. I had a lot of resentment just a decade ago. I don't have nearly as much anymore. But anyway, so yeah, I think I've covered everything I want to mention or talk about. I've covered the Philippines. I updated you guys on that. I updated you guys on, I announced the release, the planned release of 2 more channels. I've told you guys about, my attitude going forward in regards to Stellaris and streaming and producing content. My desire to focus on automation games from now on, more than I ever had before. That's kind of like going to be my next project, I think. Really my next frontier for me. And again, I hope I don't lose people over that. I hope you guys have faith in me. Like I said, I'll keep coming out with the Stellaris shorts, and yeah, I'll probably stream it too. I don't know how often, but I might stream it every day. I might not. We'll see. Just depends on how I feel. And yeah, also, and then, you know, briefly talked about the subscribers, but I already had a stream about that. So, you know, the subscriber special. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. It's just an hour of me saying thank you. It really is. And I want to say it again. Thank you. Thank you for the 4K, man. And thank you for the break. Thank you for the break. I've still getting new subscribers, even though I went on a break. Like, I mean, you guys have really made me start relaxing a little bit. Like, I don't get that feeling as much anymore of, oh, if I do this one little thing wrong, 500 people are going to leave. That's never happened this whole time. So it kind of, while I am still cautious, obviously I do need to, you know, be careful with the moves I make on the channel. I think there's a lot less pressure now than there was. A lot less fear, I think, of losing you guys than there was before. And, you know, I do need to be careful with that. You know, I don't want to be too confident, but yeah, I think it's okay to be a little confident, you know, that I can explore and do things and try new ideas and stuff, and you guys will still be around, most of you. And I really can't put a price on that, and I really want to thank you guys so much for that. And you know, I want to get to a place where I am producing what I want to produce, and I do it to the best of my ability. And it may not always get the perfect numbers that I'm looking for, but overall, you guys enjoy it no matter what. And you guys watch me for the quality of my work and not the genre. So that's kind of my goal, is I want subscribers that watch me for my work, not necessarily what the work is about. So, like, and I think that's why a lot of you have stayed subscribed, because you like the way I do things. I've had many comments about it, right? Dude, straight to the point, love it. By the way, yes, that is what I was forgetting. I want to tell you guys something else. My plans for my format going forward, and by the way, you know, mic issues. If you think my mic sounds like shit right now, know that I am working on it, and please let me know in the comments. If I don't see any comments, then that tells me that it may not be that big of a deal, and I may not work on it anymore, because it's mostly where I want it to be, I think. I'll have to listen to this after the fact, but anyway, so my format going forward, how I want to produce videos. I want to produce videos a lot faster, and I want to raise their quality at the same time. You know, every YouTuber's dream, right? Well, I think I can do it. I have a couple ideas of how I can do it. And one of those is basically, instead of taking a bunch of, you know, recording hours of footage and then sifting through all of it, excuse me. Now, this isn't going to let me capture everything. I'm going to miss some good moments with this, but I think it's for the best, because what I want to do now is I only hit the record button when there's something important going on, or I'm about to do something important, and then I turn it off. And that's going to make it much easier for me to sift through footage and get more high quality footage to you guys. And then I will, you know, and then I'll blend it with, you know, my voice and, you know, the script, and I'll write the script and everything. You know, and I want to make the script as I play the game, and kind of like just go with the flow, where I record when I need to, I script when I need to, and then I, you know, and then I do voice work when I need to, you know, make audio slides and then put them together in an editor until I've got 10 minutes of stuff, and then I just put it out on my channel. And I give it a good title, you know, in relation to what it actually is, right? So, for example, most of that 10 minutes is about me setting up a nuclear power plant then I will title it nuclear power plant, right? Or I'll be like, the best way to set up a nuclear power plant, how I did it, or whatever, you know. Now I still, and I will do some of this format to make the guides as well. Obviously, you know, hitting the record button only when I need to will help me with the guides also, and it'll get me used to actually seeking out the footage and getting better at that. So, so I just want to let you guys know that I am working on a new format, a new idea for format. I think it's going to work really well, in addition to what I've already been doing. So, yeah, and starting after New Year's, expect more shorts from me. The shorts are going to start up again after New Year's. And, you know, I might start tomorrow, but I definitely want to start streaming games again after New Year's. I want to make that a part of my routine again. I think it was doing something for me positive that I didn't realize or could really put my finger on. But I felt sort of an emptiness when I stopped streaming for a while. You know, after I took a break from streaming here recently. You know, and also, yeah, I guess I should probably apologize for you know, for stopping the stream abruptly when I did. But then, to be fair too, I did tell you guys, and I've always told you, that I don't operate off a schedule for that reason. Because I don't know what's going to happen the next day. I don't know how I'm going to feel. I don't know where I'm going to be at. So there's a lot of unknowns. So, you know, I just take it one day at a time. And that's what I'm going to do from here on out. But that's my plan so far. I just want to make it official. I want to tell you guys here. You know, please feel free to give me your feedback about this, even if it's negative or you think I won't like it. I want to hear it. You know, if you're against any of the things I've said in this video, I want to hear it. I really do. I want that data. I want that perspective. You know, it's valued on this channel as long as it's perspective, right? So just like with the last video I made. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. I've made all the points I want to make. I've covered everything I want to cover. And, you know, it was nice to have this group huddle here for my channel. I consider it like a group huddle. Just get together, or at least I get together and just, you know, put the stuff out in the open, look at it and be like, okay, yeah, this is what we're going to do, and then go forward with it. So anyway, I wish you guys a great New Year's Eve and a great New Year's. You know, enjoy your holidays, and I hope for those of you that I didn't say it to yet, I hope you had a good Christmas or Hanukkah. You know, I know there's some Jews out there, and that's fine. You know, you guys, I hope you guys had a happy holiday regardless of what faith you are and what walk of life you come from. And yeah, and again, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking with me all these years, and here's to some more years. And here's to next year, by the way. Yeah, definitely want to give a shout out to that. I want to give a shout out to 2025. No idea what's going to happen then. But it looks like some of the pretty dark things that have been going on since 2020 might start getting better. I don't know, though. That might not happen. I don't know. I have no idea. And that was kind of the other reason I need to take a break here, because a lot's happened and I just need to get my mind right. But anyway, I just want to let you guys, I just want to say thank you and enjoy your holidays, and I hope you're having a good time. And if you're not, hang in there, man. Everything passes. Things get better. You know, good things don't last forever, but you know, bad things don't either. So, and I guess we're kind of seeing that, huh? So I'll talk to you guys later, and I'll see you when I see you. Thanks, and take care.